Hey guys, so Kaiden and I decided to do our presentation on grocery store food waste. So this first slide is going to be about the global food waste problem. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, approximately a third of the food produced globally for human consumption is lost or wasted. The same report states that just 1/4 of this food could feed about 870 million people. In many developing countries, such as South Africa, this can lead to excess use of resources such as water, land, energy, labor, and capital. The excess production of food can lead to unnecessary greenhouse gas emission, which contributes to the climate change crisis. So now we're going to move on to the food waste problem as it pertains to the United States. Food waste in the United States is the single largest component of landfills, emitting a large portion of the country's methane. The amount of food Americans throw out has increased 40% since the 1970s. Consumerism in America leads many people to buy more than they need, often resulting in the throwing away of unused produce. Now we're going to be talking about the food waste problem in grocery stores. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates a $15 million loss in unsold fruits and vegetables alone at retailers. According to the USDA, sell-by dates are not safety dates, but rather dates referring to peak quality. This is because manufacturers want people to use their product at its best. This often leads to grocery stores disposing of perfectly edible food. Furthermore, neither best by nor use by dates are considered safety dates. In the United States, only a small fraction of unused grocery store food items are donated to food pantries or soup kitchens. Nearly 20% of fruits and vegetables grown on farms are considered too ugly for retail purposes. This consists of any produce item that is not blemish-free. There is nothing wrong with these foods in terms of bruising or pest infestations, nor is there any risk to health if they are consumed. Many supermarkets and grocery stores in the U.S. do not even keep track of how much food they throw away. Grocery stores and supermarkets in the U.S. often offer deals, for example, a buy one get one free deal. This can lead consumers to buy more food than they need, just because it's cheap.
Solutions to grocery store food waste. Improving the inventory management of food items by increasing the training of the employees can help significantly reduce the amount of food waste. Stores that are able to move more perishable items in front of the customers have less waste, and because of this, more product is sold. Standardized date labeling is another way to help grocery stores overcome the food waste issue. This would give one date on a product to show that it becomes expired and will help reduce consumers throwing away still fresh food. Modified packaging can also help by taking into account how much of the food the customer will actually use, and also what kind of food is being packaged in what way. Improved inventory management. This system can save up to $1,149 per ton of food. It's a system that tracks how long the food is actually on the shelves and when the customers are most likely to buy that product. With this knowledge, grocery stores can stock the shelves without overfilling them, saving product from being thrown out. The current system is meant to leave food on shelves to minimize stockout problems. So if your favorite popcorn is Smart Food popcorn, grocery stores want you to know that they're always going to have Smart Food popcorn, so that you're always going to their grocery store to buy Smart Food popcorn. So if one day you go there and they're out of Smart Food popcorn, you might go to another store, realize you like the other store better, and become a loyal customer there instead of going to your normal grocery store. So their system is meant to always have that popcorn on the shelves for you, so you can always buy it from them. In this system, they would have to compromise that to become more efficient and more productive with their food stocking system, because they might not always have that product on the shelf, but that product will be kept from being thrown out because it's been on the shelf too long. So there's a lot of challenges to implement this, and a system like this would take a huge investment from the grocery store to retrain their entire employee staff and then design a system that works for their company, because every company has a different mission statement and wants to achieve different things. So that's the challenges to this for grocery stores. Standardized date labeling. Some food products have multiple dates on them, with terms such as sell by, buy by, expired on, etc. Having these many dates on one product is very confusing for customers. Sometimes they just see a date and they assume that it's expired when the food is still fresh. So this causes them to prematurely dispose of food that is still able to be eaten. This, by standardizing date labeling, by implementing standardized date labeling, this would save over 192 billion gallons of water a year. There's some challenges to implementing this though, as dates on food items aren't regulated by government. It's not regulated by the FDA, and so food companies would have to willingly change their own systems. And also, 19 states have laws that say that food cannot be sold past the date. Even though they can't regulate the date that's on the food, they state that grocery stores can't sell food past the earliest date that's labeled on the item. Modified packaging. This would mean that packaged items that expire quickly would have fewer items in them and using different types of packaging for different food. This could save up to 208,000 tons of food a year. The EPA showed that improved packaging could reduce the total carbon footprint of pre-cooked ham by 82%. So that's just the type of packaging it's in, whether it's in breathable plastic or not breathable plastic, whether it's air vacuumed, so that the entire thing is, kind of like shrink wrapped, or whether it's kind of just neatly packaged. They had an interesting show that like most people wouldn't buy cucumbers that were sealed in a plastic because they thought that the plastic was wasteful to the environment, when in fact that packaging helps keep that fresh for longer, so you're wasting less. So one of the challenges is that large companies would again have to implement this themselves, and then like I mentioned before, sometimes the consumers think that extra packaging is wasteful when in fact it is. It's there for a reason. It's helping the food stay longer, which ultimately helps the environment.
Yeah, I think in the beginning we wanted to save the entire world, but we really discovered that this is too much and we need to focus and start with something what we actually know very well, which is food.
So we are Surplus, this is Raphael.
And this Martin.
And we are here in the Surplus store in Berlin, and you can see all kinds of different products that would have been thrown away if it weren't for us that saved them from the bin, and they are all healthy and delicious.
1/3 of all food in the world is thrown away, and at the same time 800 million people are starving, and that was shocking for me, and I really thought, what can I do? And so our idea was, how can we make food saving so cool and so mainstream that it becomes just so normal, like drinking fair trade coffee?
We have so much food that we could feed all the hungry people war times over, so actually we don't have a food shortage problem, we have a distribution problem.
There are thousands of reasons why food is thrown away. Often the food is wonky, too big, too small, it's overproduction, and many other reasons. The stores, they're paying for the food which they throw away. So they pay twice for the disposal and as well for the products themselves. So I really said, okay, now I have to talk to the owners of the supermarkets and tell them that we can find a better solution where they save money and where I have some food.
Packaged food we get from all kinds of different companies. This food gets delivered into our warehouse, there it is checked.
But most of the food which we saved is still good months, sometimes years after the best before date expired.
At the moment we have stores just in Berlin, but with the online shop we can reach everybody in Germany, and our goal is to make it possible for everybody to save food.
And to feel good by, bit by bit, making this world a better place. We are now 2 years on the road. It's a kind of a roller coaster. In the beginning, there was just Martin and me, and we were doing everything. And now we have this amazing team of 70 people, and we are so proud to have saved, together with 300,000 customers, more than 1,500 tons of food. This is the only chance we have in this universe, and we should really protect our planet. And food waste today is one of the major causes for global climate change, for the destruction of our ecosystem, and that by saving food, appreciating food, we really can make a difference.
So, what can you do for your local grocery store and how to help them with their food waste issue? So, first thing you can do is advocate and ask your local grocery store what is their food waste policy and how are they helping with this issue. How do they plan to lessen their food waste? Second is only purchasing as much as you intend to use. So whether that's as many cucumbers as you use for a meal, or try not to buy extra just because you can, and instead making sure you only buy as much as you need. If the packaging has multiple dates on it, it's important to understand that it can be usually eaten until the latest date that's posted on it. And even sometimes then, if you do more research, you can find out that you can eat it after that date anyway, and it's fine. And lastly is to ask your government to put regulations on food waste, on how much grocery stores can waste, how much restaurants can waste. It's a bigger problem than just grocery stores. It's a global problem, and I think it's one that government action could be useful in.